Alright, we'll call this asshole mini bike update. The reason we'll call it that is because an asshole owned this before I did. Alright, so I didn't make this. I'm not gonna slam on anybody else's work though, because or anybody else's work either, because I mean, shit, I can't even do welds like that hardly. And they're not that bad. They're solid as shit, you know, so I mean, you couldn't break those if you tried. So the welds are good. They did a good job mostly, I guess, but they were really sloppy on certain things that just they shouldn't have been sloppy on, I guess. I don't know. There's things. Well, here, I guess we'll start off with the previous motor. This wasn't the previous motor. This is a different engine that I put on there. This is a Tecumseh, or Tecumseh, however the hell you want to pronounce it. Two-stroke, like, snow scooper engine. Like, I think it was like a motorized shovel thing. And what I did was I put a single-cylinder dirt bike carb on it, and I don't know if that's a Keihin. I don't think so, because it came off of one of them LaFon Chinese dirt bikes. I just see a K there. I really doubt that's a Keihin though, because I think that's a really nice carburetor company, along with Mikuni. So, but that's what I had available to me. That came out of my parts. That's the carburetor. It's a standard round slide carb. Right now I have the slide and the spring and all that shit taken out of there, just because it's all hooked up to a a throttle tube assembly, and it's kind of a pain in the ass wiggling all that around while I was messing with the motor. So, back to the asshole part. The previous engine that was on this was a Lawn Boy 5 horsepower. Supposedly it was a 5 horsepower. I don't even know if that exists. 2-stroke engine. I've looked up other similar motors on eBay, and I can only find one, and it was older, and it was a neat old engine. Well, I'm guessing this moped's been stolen a number of times. And it was kind of like the neighborhood bicycle. Everybody got to ride it at least once. Well, either somebody put regular gas in it and didn't mix the two-stroke, didn't do a two-stroke mix with oil and gas, or, I mean, it was just, maybe they beat the living shit out of it, I don't know, but the grooves in the cylinder were so bad. I mean, it was horrible. I have no idea how it had any compression at all. The rings were cooked into the piston, and there was I couldn't get them out without breaking them, so I just didn't even try. I figured I'd just leave it completely assembled. It's out in the other garage, and yeah, I mean, it was just somebody kicked the shit out of it, and I ended up with it for free. The kid I got it from, I went over to his house randomly one day, and I was like, hey, how you doing? I ain't talked to you in a while. And he's like, well, let me go back in the house. I gotta go get my cigarettes, and he goes in, and I saw this sitting in his yard. It was a whole mini bike with a seat on it and everything. He came back out. I'm like, what are you doing with that? And he's like, oh, well, you want it? Oh, hell yeah, I want it. I'll take it. Shit, at the very worst, it's scrap iron. So, we'll go to my little home fabricated engine mount. The motor mount that was on this before wasn't all that great. Some really flimsy ass stock, like thinner than this even. I mean, this is actually pretty solid. This is just a big plate of steel. It was thinner than that even, and you could tell it was all kind of just rigged together, rivets loosely installed, shit like that. So the rear shock was held on with zip ties. So I'll just show you the level of riggedness it was. So what I did was I took a flap disc on an angle grinder and took all the, well, actually no, it's a wire wheel. Took a wire wheel and got rid of all that nasty black paint. There's some of it still left over. I haven't finished cleaning it up really. But what I did do is I just cleaned up my work area. The area that I'd be, messing around with. So, rather than welding, there's a reason I didn't weld. I wanted to keep things adjustable. The rear wheel is welded on. There's no messing with that sprocket and adjusting the wheel to tension the chain or anything. Kind of like on a motorcycle back wheel. See, there's the adjuster, and you tighten that bolt on the end and loosen you loosen your axle first. You tighten that bolt on the end and count the notches and make sure they're all matched up so your chain's straight. Well, that's not how this works. So you can't see it because the plate's already mounted on it, but I didn't even drill the holes in the frame. They're all the original holes that were there when I got it. They're elongated, kind of both ways. So if you loosen these, that one, and yeah, I can't even see that one, and no, not that one, that one, and that one. If you loosen those four, you can move this whole engine mount assembly around. And I drilled the holes in the mounting plate the similar way. These are a little bit bigger so that you can tilt the motor around and tension the chain properly, so I don't go slipping off and slapping the shit out of your leg while you're flying up the street. So yeah, there's that. So that's basically how far I've gotten so far. These are 2 pieces of plate steel with some angled steel in between so that I can keep things adjustable, things aren't welded together. That, and I was kind of too lazy to start welding, I guess. I don't know. My welds aren't all that great. They're kind of buggery. But yeah, no complaints so far, I guess. Thank you for the free mini bike. I appreciate it. It's not that bad. Whoever built it did a good job. Whatever asshole got it after the person who built it is not nice. I don't like them. Or whatever number of assholes got it. But yeah, that's a Tecumseh motor. And what I did was, I figured that the cylinder was round and it'll look a little bit neater without this cover on there. So I took that off. I left a little ground kill tab thing, even though I'll probably wire something different. It'll be a test. See if it shocks the piss out of you when you grab the switch, even, because I'm going to have a toggle switch coming from here to directly to the spark plug, or if I can find a kill wire on the coil that's underneath that cover there. We'll see what happens there too. But I don't know if you can see that. There's a little shaft coming out inside there. I think that's showing up on camera. That was the governor. Well, I guess there's really no reason to mention that since the whole carburetor's different. I don't think motorcycles have a governor. Unless they're them newfangled crotch rockets. But, yeah, this engine actually runs excellent with this carburetor. There's your choke. I also had to cut a notch out of the plates that the lever, it didn't interfere. This thing should be fast as hell when I'm done with it, though, hopefully. I mean, I know that's kind of a small motor. But, we'll see what happens. I'm guessing things should go okay. 2-strokes tend to have a little bit more power anyways. So hopefully that'll works out. The cylinder in this is pretty big too. I'm guessing it's at least 100 cc's, so, hopefully. The only thing that stopped me from making this rideable right now is I don't have any nuts for these, so I'm going to have to head down to Fastenal tomorrow and get some nuts that'll fit that thread pitch and thread count. Also, I was missing a stud too. See, there's only 3. There's a 4th hole underneath this plate here. Well, here, I'll just show you. Since the motor ain't bolted in. See, it's missing a stud. So, I'll have to fix that. A little bit more on my motor mount fabrication here. I'm actually kind of proud of this. I didn't have there's no way in hell I had a drill bit that big. I was working with a Delta drill press. Very nice drill press, set on its lowest speed. It drilled all these holes in this steel, no problems, even multiple layers, because I had these plates clamped together to make sure all the holes lined up. Anyways, I didn't have a drill bit that big, and I don't think hole saws cut through metal, so what I did was took that drill press and took my not my smallest bit, but one of the smaller bits, and I perforated all the way around this circle after measuring with some calipers, that sprocket on the end of the crankshaft. And I perforated all the way along there, and I took a Dremel and I kind of half-ass cut through each one, and I flipped it over, did the same thing, and I took a ball peen hammer and just smashed that plate out of there. And I think I'll just leave this perforated edge here. I don't know. I mean, who's gonna see it anyways, but That, there's no sharp edges on it or nothing. You can't really, anything like cut you or anything like that. All this steel was cut with a pneumatic air cutter tool. Has like little cutting wheels, you know. Get it from Harbor Freight for like $10 or $15 or $20, however much they cost. But yeah, there's a mini bike, and there's a beautiful engine that's going on it. Should be awesome. Hopefully it'll be running tomorrow. Well, the motor runs, obviously, but, you know, hopefully it'll be rideable tomorrow, I guess. Maybe we'll do a startup vid, even if I don't have a chain. So yeah, more updates to come tomorrow. This was Tim. Thanks for watching. I love you all. I love you all.